Indian English Literature MEG07 MEG07 Solve Assignment of 2025 Indian English Literature Assignment 2024-2025 based on blocks 1 to 8. So the question number 1 is write a short notes on A. Basics elements of a short story. B. Narrative techniques employed by Mulk Raj Anand in his novel Untouchable. C. Concept of myth and symbolism in integral parts of Raja Rao's fictional art in Kantapura. D. The political dimensions of Clear Light of Day. Write the answer from here. A. Basic elements of a short story. A short story is a brief work of fiction that typically focuses on a single event, character, or idea. The basic elements include number 1. Plot, the sequence of events or incidents that make up the story, including exposition, conflict, climax, and resolution. Number 2. Characters, the individuals involved in the story who are often limited in numbers and depth compared to a novel. Number 3. Setting, the time and place in which the story occurs, which helps create the atmosphere and context. Number 4. Theme, the central idea or message of a story, which often revolves around universal human experiences. Number 5. Point of view, the perspective from which the story is told, such as first person, third person, omniscient, or third person limited. Number 6. Conflict, the driving force of the story, which could be internal within the character or external between characters or against a larger force. For example, in O'Herney's The Gift of the MEG, the interplay of plot, theme, and character creates a powerful emotional impact in just a few pages. Now move to the B point. Narrative techniques employed by Mulk Raj Anand in Untouchable. Mulk Raj Anand employs several narrative techniques to bring out the socio-political issues in Untouchable. This include number 1. Stream of consequences. Anand uses this technique to delve into the thoughts and emotions of Baka, the protagonist, providing a deep psychological perspective. Number 2. Realism. The narrative vividly despite the harsh realities of caste-based discrimination and the struggles of the oppressed. Number 3. Third-person narrative. The omnis narrator provides a balanced perspective on Baka's internal and external conflict. Number 4. Use of dialect. Anand incorporates Indian idioms, expressions, and colloquial English and bring authenticity to the characters' voices. Number 5. Social commentary. Through Baka's experiences, Anand critiques the caste system, colonial rule, and social hypocrisy. For example, the scene where Baka is humiliated for accidentally touching a higher caste person is narrated with poignant realism and sharp critique. Number C. Concept of myth and symbolism in Raja Rao's fictional art in Kantapura. Raja Rao's Kantapura incorporates myth and symbolism to blend the spiritual with the political, making it a unique work of Indian English literature. Number 1. Myth. Rao uses Hindu mythology, particularly the stories of Rama, Krishna, and Devi, to parallel Gandhi's struggle for India's independence. Murthy is depicted as a modern-day hero, akin a mythological savior. 2. Symbolism. Kantapura village represented the microcosm of Indian society. The river Himyavati symbolizes purity, spirituality, and continuity of life. Gandhi, a symbolic figure embodying dharma and fight against adharma, injustice. Number 3. Oral tradition. The story is narrated in the form of a Puranic tale, imitating traditional storytelling techniques in the Indian culture. The interplay of myth and symbolism enhances the novel's allegorical quality and connects Indians' freedom struggles to its spiritual heritage. The political dimensions of Clear Light of Day. Anita Desai's Clear Light of the Day subtly incorporates political dimensions, intervening the persons with the historical. Number 1. Partition as a backdrop. The novel is set against the backdrop of the partition of India in 1947, reflecting its impact on individuals and families. Family as a microcosm. The disintegration of the Das family mirrors the fragmentations of India during the partition. Historical allusions. Events like Gandhi's assassination and political tensions during partition serve as subtle references to the larger socio-political context. Number 4. Symbolism. The Desai's Das how symbolize the stagnation and fragmentation of both the family and the nation. The river Jamuna represents time and continuity flowing despite the upheavals around it. The political undertones in Clear Light of the Day deepen the narrative's exploration of memory, trauma, and decolonization. Now, let's talk the question number 2. Discuss Midnight's Children as a post-colonial novel. If you have this question number 2 the same, so write the answer from here. Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children in 1981 is often celebrated as a quintessential post-colonial novel. It explores the political, cultural, and historical aftermath of colonialism in India through magical realism and an allegorical narrative. The novel not only recounts the history of modern India but also critiques the colonial legacy, the struggles of the national identity, and the complexities of the cultural hybridity. Key features of post-colonial in The Midnight Children. Number 1. Critique of colonialism. Rushdie critiques British colonial rules, emphasizes its exploitative nature and the long-lasting consequences on the India's social and political fabric. The narrative reflects how colonial policies such as the partition of India created deep divisions and scars within the nation. For example, the tragic events surrounding the partition are mirrored in the personal trauma of Salim Saini's family, symbolizing the fragmentations of India itself. Number 2. Exploration of hybridity. Postcolonial literature often explores the concept of cultural hybridity, and identities are shaped by the blending of colonial and indigenous influences. Salim Sinai, born at the exact moment of India's independence, embodies the hybridity of post-colonial identity. He is a many-in-one, representing India's diversity and contradictions. Rushdie's use of English, infused with Indian expressions, reflects as the linguistic hybridity of post-colonial India. Number 3. Use of magical realism. Magical realism is a hallmark of post-colonial literature, blending the fantastical with the real of challenge Western narrative norms. The magical abilities of the children born at midnight symbolize India's potential and its complex, diverse identity. For example, Salim's telepathic powers enable him to connect with others. Midnight's children, representing the interconnectedness of India's people despite their differences. Number 4. Allegory at nationhood. The novel serves as the allegory of India's post-colonial history, tracing key events such as partition, the emergency, and communal conflicts. Salim's personal life mirrors the nation's trajectory, with his body even falling apart like disintegration of post-colonial ideals. Number 5. Critique of nationalism. Rushdie critique both colonialism and the failures of post-colonial leadership. He highlighted how the dreams of independence were replaced by corruption, authoritarianism, and disillusionment. For example, the emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi is portrayed as a dark period of oppression, symbolizing the betrayal of democratic ideas in post-colonial India. Number 6. Reclamation of history. Post-colonial literature often seeks to reclaim history from the colonial narrative. Rushdie reimagines India's history through the subjective, fragmented memories of Salim. By blending myth, memory, and historical events, Rushdie challenges the idea of a single, authoritative history, emphasizing the multiplicity of experiences. Stylistic features supporting post-colonial themes. Non-linear narratives reflects the fragmented nature of the post-colonial identity and history. Polyphony incorporates multiple voices and perspectives, showcasing India's diversity. Subversions of Western norms. Rushdie's narrative style defies traditional Western conventions, aligning with the post-colonial efforts of decolonizing literature. The conclusion here is Midnight Children is a landmark in post-colonial literature, blending history, mythology, and magical realism to critique colonialism and explore the challenges of nationhood and identity. Through Salim Saini's story, Rushdie captures the complexity and contradictions of post-colonial India, making the novel a profound commentary on the aftermath of the colonial rule. Now move to the question number 3. Do you agree with the view that all Dattani's characters speak the same homogenized convent English? Discuss Dattani's use of English in Tara. Mahesh Dattani is one of the most celebrated contemporary Indian playwrights writing in English. His play Tara delves into themes like gender discrimination, family dynamics, and social expectations, all while reflecting the linguistic diversity of modern India. While some critics argue that Dattani's characters speak homogenized convent English, it is essential to note that his use of English is nuanced, reflecting the socio-economic backgrounds that emotional status of his characters. Dattani's use of English in Tara. Number 1. Reflecting urban Indian class India. Most characters in Tara belong to an urban-educated middle-class milieu that their speech reflects this background. The English spoken by Dattani's character mirrors the conversational style of urban India, incorporating both formal and informal tones. Number 2. Naturalistic dialogues. Dattani's dialogues are crafted to sound natural and realistic, avoiding theatrical of literary flourishes. The conversational English used by his characters reflects their emotions, conflicts, and relationship. For instance, Tara's dialogue often convey vulnerability and anger, while Bharati's reflect guilt and emotional turmoil. Number 3. Code switching. While Dattani's characters predominantly speaks in English, their dialogues often include cultural references, expressions, and idioms that resonate with Indian audiences. This blending of English with cultural specificity reflects Indians' linguistic hybridity. Number 4. Language as a reflections of power and conflict. In Tara, language becomes a tool to express power dynamics and personal conflicts. Patel, as a patriarch, often uses assertive and authoritative language. Tara and Chandan, as the younger generation, use English to challenge traditions, norms, and assert their individuality. the questions of homogeneations. While it may appear that all characters speak in a similar style, this reflects the setting and context of the play rather than a limitation of the Tani's craft. The shared use of English among the characters underscores their shared cultural and social environment. Stable differences in tone, vocabulary, and delivery hides their individuality. The examples of Tara. I think it's the other way around. You have always been the focus of attention. Tara's wish reflects her resentment and her struggles to express her identity within a patriarchal framework. Number 2. Chandan. I wish I could forgive myself, Tara. Chandan's language conveys guilt and regret, emphasizing his internal conflict. Number 3. Bharati. Why don't you understand? I did it because I love you. Bharati's dialogues reveals her emotional fragility and justifications for her action. Why Tani's language works. Universality of themes. The use of English makes the play accessible to a global audience while retaining its Indian essence. Cultural context. By weaving Indian cultural nuances into the language, Tanis ensures that the dialogues remains relatable to Indian audiences. Number 3. Emotional depth. The simplicity of the language allows the focuses to remain on the emotional and thematic depth of the play. The conclusion here is, while it's a truth that the Tanis characters in Tara speak in a shared linguistic style, this is a deliberate choices reflecting their socio-cultural background rather than homogeneations. The Tanis uses of English highlights the shared struggles and conflicts of his characters while retaining their individuality through tone, context, and delivery. His language is a powerful medium that bridges the gap between urban Indian experiences and universal human emotions. The number 4 here is attempt a critical analysis of the poem Bride of Fire by Sri Aurobindo, commenting on the issues in Sri Aurobindo's poetry. Sri Aurobindo's poetry is a deeply philosophical, mystical, and spiritual. His work often explored themes of a self-realization, cosmic consequences, and the relationship between the human and the divine. Bride of Fire is a remarkable poem that exemplifies these themes, portraying an intense yearning of spiritual transformations through the symbolism of fire. The summary of Bride of the Fire. The poem is a passionate invocation to the divine force symbolized as the bride of fire. The speaker seeks enlightenment and transformations, yearning the union with the divine flame. Fire in the poem represents purification, energy, and the divine force that awakens the soul of higher consequences. In the critical analysis, number 1. Central symbolism. Fire. Fire is the central metaphor in the poem, representing spiritual purification, the cleansing of the soul from worldly attachments. Divine energy, the dynamic force that drives transformation and spirituality awakening. Aspiration, the burning desire for self-realization and unity with the divine. For example, phrases like bride of fire and flame with virgin highlight the purity and divinity of the force. Number 2. Mystical and spiritual themes. The poem reflects Sri Aurobindo's vision of spiritual evolution where the human soul aspired to transcend its limitations and merge with the infinite. The speaker seeks guidance and empowerment from the divine flames to overcome ignorance and reach enlightenment. For example, the repeated invocations of the bride of a fire signifies the poet's deep longing for divine grace. Number 3. Personal and cosmic dimensions. The poem intertwines personal spiritual yearning with universal truths. The fire is not just a personal guide, but also a cosmic force that drives creation and evolution. For example, the speaker's transformation is portrayed as the part of a larger divine plan, aligning the individual with the cosmic order. Number 4. Use of imaginary and language. Vivid imaginary. The poem is rich in visuals and sensory details with images of fire, light, and purity, creating a sense of awe and reverence. Elevated diction. Aurobindo uses a lofty and lyrical tones reflecting the transcendental natures of his themes. For example, phrases like flame, white virgin, and veiled by time evokes a sense of mystery and divinity. Number 5. Philosophical underpinnings. The poem embodies Aurobindo's integral philosophy, which emphasizes the union of matter and spirit. It reflects his belief in the transformative power of divine energy to elevate humanity to a higher state of consciousness. For example, the fire symbolizes the supramental force that bridges the human and the divine. Issues in Sri Aurobindo's poetry. Number 1. Complexity of themes. Aurobindo's poetry often explores abstract and philosophical ideas which may appear challenging for readers unfamiliar with the spirituality philosophy. Number 2. Elevated style. The use of archaic and highly stylized language can sometimes create a sense of distance, making the emotional impacts less immediate. Number 3. Symbolism and abstraction. While symbolism enriches his poetry, the heavy reliance of abstract metaphors may alienate readers seeking more direct expressions. The conclusion here is Bride of Fire is a powerful representation of Sri Aurobindo's spiritual and philosophical vision through the vivid imagery, profound symbolism, and mystical tone. The poem encapsulates the poet's yearning for divine transformation and unity with the cosmic force. Despite the complexity of its themes and style, the poem resonates as a timeless expression of the human quest and transcends the enlightenment. Now on. The last question, question number 5. Comment on the woman in Kantapura. The answer you can write from here. Raja Rao's Kantapura is a seminal work of Indian literature reflecting the social, political, and cultural transformation. During the Indian independence movement, women play a significant role in the novel, not merely as a passive observers but as a active participants in the struggle against colonialism and the redefinitions of traditional societal roles. Their presence highlights the intersections of gender and nationalism, shedding light in the contributions of women to India's freedom struggle and the evolving perception of their identity. The role of women in Kantapura. Number 1. Catalyst of change. Women in Kantapura are portrayed as a vital agents of change, embracing Gandhian ideals and becoming active participants in the freedom movement. For example, Rangamma, one of the key female characters, emerges as a leader in the village, inspiring other women to join the movement. Number 2. Adopting Gandhian's principles. Inspired by Gandhi's, the women embrace non-violence, spinning khadi and participating in the Satyagraha movements. This adoption of Gandhi's ideology allows them to challenge both colonial rules and traditional patriarchal norms. For example, the women's participation in protests, even in the face of violence, demonstrates their resilience and commitment to the causes. Number 3. Challenging patriarchy. The novel highlights the gradual empowerment of women as they step out of their traditional roles and asserts their voices in the public sphere. For example, women like Ratna tap societal exploration by rejecting the norms of widowhood and actively engaging in the political activism. Number 4. Symbol of traditional and modern values. The women embody a blend of traditional values and modern aspirations while they uphold cultural practices. Their active roles in the freedom struggles signals a shift towards progressive thinking. For example, Rangamma uses traditional storytelling to spread Gandhian ideals, bridging the gap between the old and the new. Number 5. Resilience in the face of oppressions. Women in Kantapuras endure physical and emotional suffering as a result of their involvement in the freedom struggle. Despite this, they remain steadfast in their commitment to the cause. For example, the women endure beatings and imprisonment during protests but refuse to give up, showcasing their strength and determinations. Themes highlighted through women's intersections and gender and nationalism. The novel demonstrates how the nationalist movement provided a platform for women to challenge their marginalization and assert their agency. For example, women's participation in spinning khadi symbolizes both economic independence and resilience and resistance against colonial exploitation. Number 2. Social reforms and gender equality. By portraying women as a leader to active participants, Kantapuras advocates for social reform and gender equality. For example, Ragamma's leadership role challenges the traditional perception of women as subservient to men. The conclusion here is, in Kantapur, Raja Rao presented women as central figures in the freedom struggle, breaking away from traditional roles to embrace activism and leadership. Their resilience, courage, the determination reflects but not only their contribution to the nationalist movement but also the broader societal transformation towards gender equality. Through the women in Kantapura, Rao highlights the integral role of women in shaping the destiny of a nation that challenging the structures of patriarchy. This was the last question of the MEG 07. If you need on another subject solution, then let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much. Bye bye and Jai Hind.